I just received some crazy downloads, so if you want to hear about them, stay tuned. Basically, this was all about emotion and mindset and the stories we tell ourselves, and that those stories are very real. So some man could say, hey, I'm short, and that means, I'm never gonna get married because people don't like that, yada yada. So X equals Y equals Z. And I was just reading this book, The Courage to be Disliked. It's a whole dialogue in the book, and the mentor told the student, hey, I used to have that feeling of inferiority too, but then a friend told me, hey, as you are a teacher and someone with wisdom people are coming to, it's good that you're more disarming. When you're short, people are more receptive to your message and what you're teaching. And then he decided to change in his mind, oh, short isn't bad. For me, being short is good. And he goes on to point out that this is all a feeling. We decide how we feel about things, and it's really just an assessment of value and us assigning value to things, just like how we decide that a dollar bill means something or that a diamond means something. We assign value. And in this way, you can decide that what I'm feeling about myself, especially if it's something negative, it's not an objective fact, like that's the truth and that's it. It's actually a subjective interpretation. It's up to me to decide. Here's a good quote. A good thing about subjectivity, it allows you to make your own choice. Okay, and that is huge. And being able to make your own choice and decide how you feel about it, that is freedom. That's real freedom right there. So then you don't get to live by, what other people think of you. If you love yourself and love the different things about you, your whole world changes. People see you differently, treat you differently. I've experienced this a lot because I grew up very, very insecure and shy and no friends, and thought people didn't like me. And then I realized, damn, I'm telling myself that story over and over and over again. No wonder it keeps playing out. And then once I started telling myself something different, my life just opened up and expanded and changed so much. And so that's what freedom means to me. This word freedom gets thrown around a lot, and it seems like we all want it. Obviously, countries like the US were built on this idea of freedom, and it's what we all want, right? Why is that? What does that really mean? What are we getting at here? And I think it all comes back to spirals. And spirals have been showing up a lot in my life lately, and we'll get to that more in a second. I just want to give another example of where freedom is being stopped or limited. So what else might be stopping you now that you know this principle about emotions are actually subjective and you make up stories? It's not the truth. The truth is what you decide the truth to be, right? So what else could be stopping you? It's fear and laziness, at least according to this book. And he gave this example of someone saying, I'm not well educated, so I can't succeed. And he goes on to say, what you really mean is, I don't want to succeed. Now that might be triggering, but what that means is when you say, I can't do something, you're actually saying, I don't want to. I'm too scared of change. I'm too scared of failure. It's easier to stay in this slight misery of however life is right now because it's predictable, it feels safer. I don't want to sacrifice any current pleasures I have and go into the unknown where things might get better, but they could get worse. And that is actually a lack of courage. And the book is called The Courage to be Disliked. And I don't know if he gets into this later, but for me, I don't think it's just lacking courage. I also think it's lacking faith and knowing that no matter what, God's got your back. God's going to answer your prayers. Like, he's not going to let things go bad. If you deeply believe things will work out and that he's got you, they will. And that'll allow you to make those changes more rapidly, knowing that your Father is there to support you. Or spirit, source, whatever your relationship with God is, know that any synchronicities will line up and just like, yeah, everything will work out if you believe it will work out. And I have a crazy story, actually. I just ended up at this house after having a 30-day notice to move, and instead of being like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I like prayed so intensely, and this perfect house with a garden fell right in my lap. And that's one thing that like really, really confirmed my faith more than ever, that if I lean in and believe God's got me, he's got me. And so that's helped me have even more courage to make changes, etc. But if you don't have the courage to change, and you're telling yourself you can't, that you don't want to, and you also don't have faith that things will work out, of course you are going to just get stuck in a circle. This circle might look like you work the same job day in and day out, and it feels like Groundhog Day. You live just this mundane, same day on repeat over and over again that you're probably not that happy with. It could look like a circle of a bad habit, a circle of a habit, a bad cycle like drinking. There are lots of these different circles. They're just circles of getting stuck in very like negative patterns in your head, or maybe getting into fights with someone you love, even when you keep saying you want to change, you're gonna change, or the same lessons just keep coming up over and over and over again, and nothing ever changes, right? Here we are back to change and growth and evolution and transcending, and that's when the spiral comes in. And for me, I remember this time I went into an ice cream shop to do work with them as like an influencer event thing. And I went in the first day, and I like got all hyped up in the car. I knew I wasn't going to be shy. I knew I was just going to be expansive and authentic and be me, and people would resonate, and it went so well, and it worked so well. Day 2 comes, and I realized I left my water bottle there, and so I went back to get it the next day, and they were having just like a friends and family opening. The store was newly opening, and it still wasn't open to the public. And I just like slunk in there, like grabbed it real quick, was all weird and shy and awkward, and left. And my boyfriend was like, what the heck was that, dude? Like, that was so shrinking. Like, you just shrunk so hard. And when people say shrinking or expanding, that also, sorry for wiping my nose, I have a little bit of a runny nose right now. Shrinking and expanding, I feel like I can feel it in my body. Like, I will get like nervous and shy, you know, when you close up, versus you meet someone who's charismatic and they're very like open body language, receiving from the universe, things like that. You can literally feel and sense the shrinking and expansion. So one tip is, especially before something important, notice how you feel inside. Do you feel like you're contracting and shrinking or expanding? So how does this relate to spirals? Here we have birth. Things naturally want to grow. And the book talks about it too, about we can have these inferior thoughts, like comparing ourselves to someone and wanting to get better and be better and improve. And that can be a catalyst and a stimulant and a good thing to, like, it naturally gets us to want to grow and evolve and change. But that can get twisted when we get stuck in a circle of these excuses of I can't do it, like I can't change, I can't get that dream, whatever it is, and that gets you stuck in a circle instead of continuing to spiral up. And what that looks like is, instead of having the energy free flowing like a river, a waterfall, water is meant to move, we are beings made of water, you get stuck. And then instead of this, it shrinks and contracts. And this is usually, if you refer to the power versus force diagram, I'll pop it up here in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. This is also a good way to realize those feelings literally bring you down. That diagram is a spiral. Maybe I'm just reinventing what people already know, but I'm just figuring it out from my own downloads, okay? Spiral, and then it shrinks, and you're down in these like lower contracted emotions, and health is up here in this natural flow, natural movement. When you're up here, you're open to the expansiveness of synchronicities and serendipity and downloads and God flowing into you. Up here, you are limitless, you are free. Comes back to freedom. What do we all want? What does that mean? Maybe just knowing that no one is telling you, no, you can't, you're not, that like you won't have your dreams, that's impossible. That literally just like makes me want to shrink up inside. And that's what happens when we tell ourselves things like this, that we can't do it. And so how do we tap into more of this freedom? I have a lot of ideas, and I wrote down some like little cute, unique like little challenge ideas for yourself on a ton of sticky notes. Let me know if you guys want some of those ideas. But a good basic way to do is just notice, where have you capped yourself and limited yourself? Here, the flow is capped, the limit has been set. Your limit of what you can achieve in life, be in life, experience, and become has been stuck. And now you are stuck in a forever circle here instead of ascending and improving. And maybe that's also where Maslow's self-actualization pyramid comes to, because of the upward movement. Insert it here. I don't know. But if we're going to self-actualize, whatever that means, and just have a dream life, have a life full of freedom and self-sovereignty, then we have to free ourselves from our own interpretations of our emotions. And that's just the beginning. If you can get mindset down, then you can start realizing where you're getting stuck in your habits, where those routines have you stuck in circles of living day after day you don't love. And then you can really start transcending into creating a life of love and freedom. And so I had some bigger sticky note thoughts here on that note of how do we break the cycle? Here, I'll hold that up. Break the cycle. How do we break the cycle? Sometimes we are stuck in these circles, in these cycles. And we feel like we're going in circles when really we want to be going up, spiraling up. Let's break free and create our own rhythm, our own dream life. Because who wants to be controlled? And it's happening all the time. Don't even get me started. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Comment down below. Are we on the same page here? So, the first way to break out of that control, possibly the easiest because it's inside of you, but maybe that also makes it the hardest. Depends on your perspective. Change what's controlling you in your own head. That's why meditation is so great, because you detach and you realize you are not your thoughts, and you can watch those thoughts come and you can release them and watch them go, and realize that your thoughts don't have to be the way they are, and you can step in as a conscious creator of your life. So let's break the cycle and then get into a healthy rhythm. And after that, then there are even things about healthy pattern disrupts. But this is already like 16 minutes long, so I will see you guys again soon for another garden talk. Please let me know if I just sounded like a quack, or if any of that if any of that benefited you or gave you an aha moment, or maybe just confirmed or brought up a remembering of what you're already feeling and knowing and doing. What are your guys' goals too? What are we working towards right now? Comment below, and don't forget this lesson. Me, future me, watching this at me in the garden, and you guys. Yep. Love you. Create freedom and love in your life. Mwah.